we don't really know what to expect, but we hope it's a great game, really.
I'm sure it will be. Should be an exciting one. Good luck, man.
Thank you.
Back to you.
You know what I'm happy about? I'm happy that the newest player added to sAw wants to do interviews. Always good to see a little bit of personality coming out. Always good to find out more about these guys as they come into the scene. We are going into Ancient, though, and that's where he'll have to feature.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot riding on this for both squads, and you can already see sAw getting up to some very fast aggression in through middle. 5 players went out to fight in for that mid-control, but Simple taking control in towards that B bomb site and finding one, but Muterus answers back. B bomb plant, it is certainly, but there's a lot more presence here from sAw, and Story's got another.
All down to Magisk and Dupreeh, the two Danes locked into the back of the bomb sites, getting a kill apiece, and Dupreeh's got a dink on top of it. Suddenly things going from good to terrible for sAw as Muterus is left with 3 HP to make this clutch work, and it just can't. Magisk starts off with a triple. Very strong opening to the game.
That's a major winning combination of players in a 2v4 to have to pull that round back. Falcons got full access to that B-bomb site, but even at the man deficit, yeah, it's hard to put Magisk and Dupreeh away so easily.
Don't downplay them. They're not major winning. They're 4-time major winning together. 5 for Dupreeh, but who's counting?
Everyone.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Majors are pretty counted, aren't they? And you know what else is counted? Major appearances, and Falcon is hoping to make theirs soon. So is sAw. So, of course, with a lot of tumultuous energy behind that Atlanta finisher, now hoping this round can go better for them than Atlanta did, and it started off strong again. But are the refrags going to be available? Scaling onto the bomb site is certainly possible. There aren't grenades to pop open these smokes, but I don't know if that's really been read into. Completely re-smoked back out to Donut. And although it locks him out, Ujerks will be going down only to be traded. Story providing a beautiful deagle shot, and they're back to a 2-on-4. How many of these can Falcons win out in a row? They are hoping at least 2. Oh no.
Yeah, smoke's not going to last forever, and they're starting to trail into it. Yeah, just leaping at Madden is the first player in Agil, and Muter is able to get one, countered back by Magisk, but there's Roman to come in for the clutch. A quick trade back, and this time the 4 versus 2 does work out, but it is still only one that survives here for sAw.
Whatever, it's a force by victory at the end of the day, right? And sure, Falcons will be able to most likely pull together a Tech 9 and some armor going into the next one with a bomb plant as well, but this is still exactly what sAw was hoping for after that first round goes awry.
I'm very surprised, though, you know, with Muterus playing the edge of that smoke, Madden was very close by to that smoke, and he didn't spam back as soon as Muterus retreated. I'm very surprised he didn't go for that, given there would have been relayed information that Muterus was likely low after that initial exchange. Could have been a 2 versus 3 that they would have had to bail themselves out of, wouldn't have had to worry maybe about the Donut player leaping at them. It was maybe a curious decision, almost worked out, but
it's a great double kill from Story to make it so that it can't.
Yeah.
And Roman now wants to aggress. In he goes. Madden is out. And, well, so is Roman from the action, at least. Falcons did go for the AKs being picked up for Simple. And I believe Madden had one as well. But please correct me if I am wrong on that one, Michael. I think he had one.
Yeah,
Roman
I think you're right. Yeah. I'll be wrong with you. It's fine.
Actually, Roman saved his AK in the previous round, so I guess he didn't. Okay.
I think the funny thing is, you know, I agree with Sam completely. You know, fans and everyone looking on to the Falcons, they are expecting Simple to hit the ground running. He had a decent opening debut with them in their online officials, and sure, it didn't look the most well-composed or put together, but Simple was still doing simple things, which is very promising for the return of one of the greatest.
This is a rough round, though. Magisk, Simple, and Dupreeh have all been taken down low. A bomb plant would be nice, but it is honestly a little bit unexpected. Muterus does recede and let them have that one. Doesn't want to take the risk of a hair, but now it also opens things up to a bit of tragedy. You've got a few flashes, one of them already being used. Now 2 left for Ujerks, and he is in a decent enough position to chuck them in, but with Deagles and AKs on the other side, you can see what's going wrong. Magisk finds the one. Angel not able to quickly finish off the Lord Dupreeh, and Simple's AK finds nothing. sAw clean it up.
Yeah, they were just all so low health by the time they ended up in that post plant. Even with sAw not having offensive utility, they had SMGs, they had weapons that were willing to take that space away. And if Falcons didn't hit some nice clean deag shots or quick taps with the AK, the round was pretty much I mean, just wasn't within their grasp at all. They had nothing to stall out those CTs either, given that they came in with lighter weaponry.
And listen, man, I mean, I know you and Sam are being very nice and saying, hey, fans are going to really rack expectations on a simple. It's not just fans, it's me too.
Yeah, I mean, but we're fans.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. Don't open the curtain. We're not normal people. We're better.
Oh.
Informed.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Simple right now has been given information of Ujerk's position, but that grenade that followed through with it means he's losing teammates, losing chances. Just can't find those duels.
And I was curious to find that we were going to an Ancient, because this is also a map that we haven't seen much from the Falcons. You know, when we had limited exposure to them in their online outing, they did not play an Ancient. So
to be fair, though, I also am surprised to see Ancient, because I thought sAw was... Ancient was one of their weakest maps in Atlanta. I felt like Ancient was the reason why they lost that tournament even in a lot of places. It felt like some of the mid-aggression was out of tune. It felt like some of what Barry was trying to integrate wasn't really necessarily fully put through. Their CT side, funnily enough, was where they were having all of their issues. So this good start to things, it's a good sign for them. Especially with Ujerks being able to find this kind of success. Muterus now as well gets a crest, is spotted out, and the spray exchange goes his way. Dupreeh nearby is going to be looking to lead through, and he's managed to find out that there's no one there. He's now creeping and trailing forward. Ujerks and Story put their heads and hearts together, and more importantly, their hands too.
Well, Simple and Dupreeh can certainly make this round a little bit scary. Just have to get isolated fights, and there does seem to be one waiting around the corner here for Simple. Bomb is dropped outside of B, not something that sAw have full confirmation of, but they will have their suspicions. And I think this was one of the promising signs when we saw Simple in his online outing, is that when he was in clutch situations, he was still destroying people.
These positions are insane, though, especially with Dupreeh going down with a Muterus backstab to reaggress into middle. At this point, honestly, it does feel a little bit like just don't give him the kills to let him pick up that form, and running out of bullets over there, Simple can't get it together.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah. I built that one up a little too much, maybe.
But listen, at the same time, it does feel like every single one of these rounds you're thinking is possible. That's also something sAw is keeping in mind, right? So sAw will not be letting their foot off the gas at any given point. Another thing to keep in mind, obviously, for these players, they have played against Simple, they have played against Classic Na'Vi, but never at a point where it felt like they could truly compete.
Yeah, not when they were considered the favorites coming into this matchup. You know, I think even with the Falcons getting access to Simple, we still have very fond memories of sAw this year.
Story right now, dig down. 23. Roman will be the point of contact, and he has contacted and forced them back. There's no longer any phone numbers being dialed up. They have used all their smokes on the T side, though, so now whatever you want to do is going to be purely reliant on hands.
And spams.
That's true. That's there too.
Snappy, not happy. 0 and 6. And didn't really get a chance to fight in this round, because they only come in with techs, so expectations would have been limited. But I like how assertive sAw have been in previous rounds, but now knowing what the buy is, they have played more within the bomb site.
That's not the cleanest.
Still swinging with confidence.
Yeah,
we're swinging with confidence.
Ujerks deserves to have that confidence as well. Now running out of bullets, though, that's not the weapon you want in your hand, buddy. There aren't any throwing knives in this game. Martin taken down as well, and although the damage is not the worst, Magisk is now going to be left with a terrible task to try and deliver the bomb back to A. The plant is possible, I do believe, but that should be all he really gets. Oh no, he wants more! Taking the fight, it's greedy, and it won't pay off.
Yeah, I mean, he heard the steps of Muterus up close, and he thought he was just going to get ran down, so that's why he gets himself off that plant there. Muterus was within earshot to hear the relocate, so it's not like he was totally alone either. He did have backup en route. But already some early problems here for the Falcons.
Yeah.
Get to see the AWP out, of course, and this will likely be the first time we get to see it.
And to be honest, Michael, one of the things about the pressure on the Falcons that I think people aren't really considering so far, which is what I love about this extra pressure, is that the rest of this team hasn't really been doing too much, let's be honest, right? Like these individual players, we know their peaks, we know their ceilings. They've not even been in the rooms where their ceilings should exist. So you want to put a microscope on these guys now that they have Simple? You want to make it so that internally in the team, the environment is straightforward. We got to be good. We've got the GOAT on our side. No one's going to forgive us for losing anymore. Not that that was happening too much before either, in all fairness.
Yeah, I mean, they did make it to the finals against Complexity at ESL Challenger Katowice, where, you know, Complexity were happy to lift a trophy for themselves, but, you know, you're thinking the Falcons with the players and the repertoire they have, you would think that they could beat the likes of a Complexity. And also we saw what Complexity did after that tournament wasn't too grand.
I mean, if you include Zonic in the mix, they've got, what, 14 majors amongst them? Nice shot from Dupreeh, though. That's one of the ones with 5 to his name. Early entry will be a good start, especially when it's on the hot hand in New Jerks. It enforces back rotations from Agile. And Agile has slotted into this team quite well. It feels like he's not necessarily packing the same punch, but he plays a lot of the same position, and he's very similar passive style trade frag heavy player as Arizdosh could be at times. But right now, he's not trading anything. Dupreeh will just take him down. Magis does the same, and Falcon's slow lurking style will yield them a lot of fruit.
Yeah, this didn't feel like it was perfect calling from the Falcons, just some independent work lurking through those positions. Dupreeh making use of his early entry and just capitalizing on the space, the timing as well they hit through red.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think Snappy programmed every single one of those.
Yeah, he's micromanaging both Magisk and Dupreeh.
While he's alive.
As the least successful Dane on the roster.
Hey. Yeah.
I would have loved to see the counterpoint if you could have fished one out.
I mean, you're really putting him in some staunch competition.
Oh no,
I
mean, yeah, but he's amongst legends.
Yeah. And sAw are hoping that they don't realize that themselves. They don't want to think of Falcons as legends. They want to think of Falcons as, well, you know what, it's a team having troubles. And trying to reintegrate a lost guard of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I guess to draw the parallel, you know, they may be letting their organization down with the level that they've output, given the investment that's gone into this roster. The Falcons across other esports have put in a lot of money to get basically the best team in those respective esports, and you know, you see that bear fruit. Counter-Strike, that's been a different story.
Story, though, down in middle, Muris has been caught out. Matches managed to fade back as well, and now you see Agile and Story looking a little bit lost. They recede back to Don't, they completely forfeit mid-control, but now you have to worry about B side. That's where Ujix's rotation could come into play. A flash overhead, and he wants to peek out from the side. They're not blind, though. They're not blind, though. Madden hits the blinder off his shot, only traded away, and Roman not ready for the stutter step from Simple.
Yeah, he wanted to dive out. He wanted to try and escape somehow, but a lovely trade frag from Simple. Agil past the smoke. Woo! Snappy just clotheslines him. That's Snappy's first kill, but it is an absolute ripper onto the new addition of sAw. And so now Story saves. But I like the fact they're willing to take that fight back to sAw after all the assertive mid-control they've got in previous rounds. Falcons undeterred, not fearful of taking that duel. But then also capitalizing on some space over at B, all the same as well. Ujerks, yeah, put a lot of faith in that flash that was easily dodged by Madden.
It's also nice to see that Magisk is going for a few of those plays, which honestly, I don't really attribute to Magisk getting aggressive through smokes like that, even with flashes and everything to help him. That's more for, like, I'm thinking anyone, it's Madden who's going to do that. But obviously, when you've got the potential of having double aggressive prongs, it did feel like at some point Dupreeh was likely the one to do something like it, but
Just to complete my point, though, you know, where they're maybe not meeting the expectations of the Falcons organization, these players, maybe the players on sAw have questions to ask about whether their organization is meeting their expectations.
That's true.
You know, they've found themselves in a very awkward scenario. Agil even said in the pregame that, you know, it's unusual that you have roster moves happening when you've got the RMRs to play. It's happening mid-season. It does seem like there's some turmoil, I guess,
brewing. And you're finding success, right? Like, you got top 4 at Cologne. That's harder to do than getting top 4 at a major, to be very honest. The format is so staunch.
The caliber of teams as well is more consistent. You're less likely to have these upsets or, you know, teams that maybe had easier runs.
Yeah. Competition-wise, it doesn't get harder than that. And now you're found without a coach. Now you're found with one star player less for your roster, hoping to substitute him with a guy who really doesn't have the reps.
Yeah, you're familiar with him. You know, Story and Ujerks playing with him on For the Win once upon a time at previous Challenger level events. But more of a support player, not a star.
I don't think they know where Dupreeh is.
Well, they've given up all the mid control, so I'd be very surprised if they were caught out by Falcons actually having presence here.
It's all about timing of a hair. Story looks away. Dupreeh had a chance, but the shot too fast. Had to be an instant hedge, but that's just not going to be achievable. Simple now recovers into middle, and Muters will not have information of this. Simple's hidden away. And although that possibility should be in the back of their minds, the back of your mind is not where you want to keep the Ukrainian man. That's why Story keeps an eye out for him, will take down that secondary lurk, and you bring it back to a 5-on-3 with the base site the destination and not a lot of utility to try and take it over. Flashes are left, they will not be deployed. Roman actually is blind, so I eat my words as he eats the flash. Madden turns the corner, no smokes to interrupt, and he doesn't need them. Wants to proceed forward and aggress more. Ujerks will now be spotted, but a shoulder is enough, and now Madden has to be careful with that flash in his hand. He gives up his life. Back to a 3-on-2, and the re-peek from Muterus will refrag out twice and thrice over. Saw a thing of beauty that retake was.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of lined up for him. I mean, Muterus fighting out from long. Magisk just gave an initial glance and then hid himself away, but Snappy was still in the firing line, and so he caught a bullet. And you saw Magisk a little desperate to try and get something back, because you know, finding yourself in a 1-on-3, you have to fight for something. A very challenging post plant to operate around, especially when you give 2 opening kills away to Story. But I have to say, good re-aggression from Story, who can sometimes be a bit more on the passive side. You know, especially, I mean, on T sides, he does go for openers, but on CT, he can be a bit stagnant. But after he got his first kill onto Dupreeh, he just decided to hunt for extra, and he found it.
Oh, is this another play through the smoke? Yes, it is. Will they catch anyone? Dupreeh does. But Angel was able to recover from the initial blind. Now with the deep incendiary down, he forces Magisk to reconsider pathing, and that does reset to a 4v4. Simple with the op. This is what we've been waiting for, but Ujerks could be a little bit much. Oh no, Madden finds him.
It looked like Madden was just about to go into the edge of the smoke as well, so had that been a second later, maybe Ujerks catches them with their pants down. But it was a big risk to take. Man advantage here for the Falcons, but you can see sAw being active in their defense. Got 2 set up inside of middle. Roman holding his ground inside of B as well. Does deal with Snappy, but there is progress being made here from Madden. He's got access to long, and he's carved out a path so that that bomb can cross as well.
Magic's position is fantastic over here, though. He's forced out a long rotation for one.
He's missed the timing.
He might have, actually. Because Roman is just proceeding forward and getting ready for the backstab. They're not prepared. The bomb is dropped, but Magisk now makes his way over for the trade. 2 versus 2, Magisk should have an idea that there could be another player coming over. That's what the flash is for. And Story will still be given a chance. How has he allowed that to happen? Madden, now an impossible position for him. But maybe not so impossible. He is trying to take the fight back over to them. This ankle is surely not going to be expected. He's waiting for Agile to round the corner. Agile and Story hoping to reconvene. The smoke is there. That's what he was worried about, but Story jumps forward the 5-7 to take his head. And that is 7 on the board for sAw.
Yeah, I mean, lovely shooting there from Story. Once again, coming up huge for the sAw camp. And I mean, from the AWP kill he finds down lane, the timing that Roman hit was absolutely sensational. I don't think they can quite believe how quickly this round exploded. I mean, a 4-on-3 where Ujerks gives his life away for free. Somehow they just can't deal with one of the more veteran players here in the Portuguese squad. Just so elusive. They knew about him inside of Cave, but didn't expect him so fast on the flank. And this is the thing, Falcons have been wanting to play this slow style, round smokes, not overplaying their hand, going with simple executes or calling from spawn. I guess to leverage the experience that they have in playing out these mid rounds, and I guess showing and displaying a bit more patience in holding their angles or understanding the timings that they might be able to hit once they do start to show presence on one of the extremities. That's what Dupreeh has been doing in middle so frequently. It's what they've been able to capitalize on in these slower moments, but this time they slow things down and sAw are able to find a gap.
It's not like sAw doesn't have their fair share of experience between Muterus and Roman.
Yeah, but while you've got major winners on the Falcons side, sAw only made their first major this year.
They're no strangers to challenger level events though. And they know that the best time to cause an upset, even if it's not an upset in rankings, but an upset of heart, is the beginning. Tears might be shed later on though. Right now, Roman is the only one here on B. They have found it vacant, but Roman will at least give the CTs an advantage. Flash overhead. U-Jerks to try and let Roman peek forward for more, prevent the bomb planter from receding backwards, and with Falcon not having utility, Snappy's in some hot trouble. Well, maybe not so hot. Dupreeh will bail him out. Snappy given a duel, but Roman and Agile are bringing it right back. Simple now given a chance to shine. This is exactly where you want to see him. The shot is nice, but it's incomplete, and that's not enough. Look at how far off Martin is. The defuse will just come through before he'll even be relevant.
And the spam doesn't line up either. In fact, he gets spammed better back by Agile. They are getting outclassed on an individual level, whether it has been Story, hell, Muterus with some of these key kills.
Roman's aggression as well.
Yeah, this was not the map I was expecting. Not when we're looking at a sAw that look a little wounded, a Falcons that have access to what the best player we had in Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
The best player of Counter-Strike history in general. Now there's an incendiary, but fire on their feet is the least of their concerns. It's fire in their faces from Agile. 2 already down, make it all of them 9-3. sAw feel good going into that second half. might have been the favorites on paper, but sAw are reminding us that paper cuts feel really bad. 9-3 up right now at the end of that first half. Now only going to their T side, which is always their most successful side on this map. Ancient's not looking good for Simple and company. These Falcons are flying low.
Did our partners at Expect just give up? Like,
hey, so did Falcons. There you go.
There's nothing there.
Well, Dupreeh right now does at least start off with a couple of beauties. Okay. That's more what I'm talking about.
He didn't give up.
I need a little bit more of this. You know what? If you win the pistol round, if you win, you know, the anti-eco, the first gun round,
Yeah. You start to put the pieces together, and you know, suddenly it becomes a winnable game.
Pistol round is a cornerstone to any puzzle, but there are 4 corners. There's a post pistol and there's 2 gun rounds.
Oh my God! Nice shots from Roman, I guess.
He's been having a few really good ones, to be fair. And anytime Roman's heating up in a series, you know it's not going to be a good time.
Yeah, he's usually supposed to be the sleeper. Yeah, but sometimes that sleeper agent awakens. But
Speaking
these shots,
of, Dupreeh also.
Yeah, I mean, he was actually an agent of despair.
Good to see Simple getting a little bit more involved as well. Even if it is just a pistol, hopefully can transition that one forward. Of course, the scrutiny is largely going to be focused onto his opping on the CT side. I think it is fair to say, of course, the scrutiny is large everywhere when it comes to Simple, but all the more so when he's supposed to get it done. sAw are hoping to have set post pistol. Very important for Magis to be able to perform. He's not able to find that first kill. Dupreeh as well, fully blind, will not matter. Keeps the spray going. Moves back into the smoke, and he hasn't taken too much damage. Simple now comes back into the fray. Let him get the cleanup frags, and yes, they will. Dupreeh looking good going into the CT side.
Yeah, I mean, nice damage mitigation as well. Magus not sticking around for too long, ceding his ground, but then also finding times to re-aggress, and timed it well with Dupreeh as well. After he went back into the smoke, he emerged back to default just as Magus was also challenging those big box players. So nice smooth decision-making between the pair of them in dispersing that force buy round. And so now sAw, after that post-pistol attempt, will find themselves on Glocks. Meters and Story do have Deegs, as does U-Jerk. So, I mean, it's not as though there aren't chances.
There's also P250. There's actually only 1 Glock. So.
Yeah, sorry, my fault.
He was just setting up for the Glocks call. I can't actually do that tone right.
Yeah.
I miss days.
Few can hit the highs.
It's true. That is true.
You need to really hate what's going on in your pugs, I guess.
That's my problem. Not enough hatred in me. We'll change that if Simple loses. No, I couldn't hate sAw. sAw obviously would say this year's Cinderellas, but they're really hoping that the carriage hasn't turned back into pumpkins yet.
Well, they want to fight, and sAw are looking to give it to them. U-Jerk slowly probing with that Deeg. Simple and Dupreeh have to be a little careful maybe that they don't line up. They're not exactly both fully healthy, but nice collection on kills. Roman does get one with his P250, but swept away. No problems here for the Falcons dealing with the pistols. 3 rounds straight. They'll just be happy that they're finding a bout of success, but now that sAw are back onto full buys, this is where they have to dispel all doubt.
This is also where sAw have to dispel doubt for us, right? Like, as much as we're talking about how sAw has been doing very well, integrating a player like Agile into your team who hasn't seen the top level is going to be difficult on the T side more than anywhere else.
Yeah, he's never been a star player.
And he's being given star roles.
Yeah.
That's the most crucial bit. They're not neglecting him. They're setting him up. But success is hard to find when you are expected to locate it. Falcons knows all about that. Snappy could be looking to get aggressive while mid has been bombarded. Simple, shadow spotted, not fired out early on, but he'll miss a shot. And now as Muris looks to close the distance, that's an accident. Story goes down for his leader's life. Trade is good though, but the advantage remains for Falcons.
Yeah, good isolated kill there for Magus as well to get. Otherwise he would have been sandwiched between both main as well as that donut pressure. So it does slow down the progress here of sAw. Aguila and Roman will link up over towards that B side, and that is the weakened bomb site, given that they found opening kills onto Simple, into Donut. They know that the A side could very quickly be sieged, but Muterus is getting crunched and has to be careful. Dupreeh has, again, just been this hot hand for the Falcons. 2-on-4 now presented here for the Portuguese.
Snappy's been the cold hand, unfortunately, of the bunch. Made the B-bomb side feel even weaker. What is that? The plant from Agile. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's not even tucked close to the default pillar. Yeah,
that's showing off a bit too much bomb there for sure.
Out in the open.
Like, it's one of those mistakes, right, that you would be expecting from what is effectively a rookie player. But you can't let that happen. You got that clean entry back against Snappy. You feel like that's your real trade for Muterus' death, and that's your real opportunity to get back into the round.
Yeah, so it didn't make it too difficult there for Dupreeh to cancel that bomb plant. And even with an extra kill being found at the end of that round, Falcons will be, again, pleased that they dealt with what should have been their most problematic round still.
I'm curious about whether or not sAw want to actually buy up over here, even if it's a half buy. They didn't get the bomb plant, obviously, but at the same time, you did get 3 kills and the AWP was taken out of their hands. A force buy is also something, frankly speaking, it's very easy to rally the troops around it and just see if you can get a quick little pop through onto a side, see if you can overwhelm Magisk or maybe Snappy. Might be the latter that they're aiming towards for now. Climbing back up is Dupreeh, not actually up on top of the stairs, just besides them for now, waiting for any aggression to come through, but it's completely abandoned in B house, funnily enough. Snappy doesn't want to risk the contest. Maybe for good reason. This is going to be a nearly impossible B-side hit. Dupreeh spots out the bomb as well, right as it's turning around, the grenade follow-up. Even the re-smoke available, he'll be able to reface. Dupreeh is doing it all.
He's been stellar, absolutely stellar. Just keeps on fighting, had his teammates come down the B ramp as well. And while Muterus will finally put an end to the chaos that Dupreeh sows, 4 kills from Dupreeh in an isolated mid-hold is far more than you would have bargained for. 19 and 13 is Dupreeh, as Falcons are now 1 away from tying things up.
This is so funny because it feels like early 2018 Counter-Strike where Dupreeh and Simple are both on a server. Simple's underperforming and Dupreeh's killing it. Of course, the only team that he ever underperformed against, and that was only for a little while, to be honest. He then got it all together against Astralis as well. It was the greatest team of all time.
Yeah, so maybe some woes for Simple in the transition to LAN. But Dupreeh has no issues. Full buy back here for sAw.
Yeah. All about for Story as well. Might be more relevant in the post-launch should they get there, but for now it has been given the task of helping Roman make sure the B lane is unoccupied.
They'll be a little fearful, a little scared about approaching mid, especially when Dupreeh has been the main occupant of it.
Snappy and Martin want to get aggressive though, and they could end up trying to let Dupreeh trade off of them if they want to go through lane into mid, but that is such a dangerous play. They decide against it. Instead, they just jiggle out position. Simple will give Madden back up and allow him to rotate back as well.
I do like the small details. You know, Madden just there to back up Snappy because he had to reload at some point or another. Simple, close range on the angle with the AWP. Will miss his chance, but also gets confirmation that there's nobody lurking around the wings. Story does find Snappy, though. Very late peek from the in-game leader in through mid. Dupreeh could still reveal. Shadow spotted, and Muterus will get him. So 2-man advantage here for sAw, and they have access to mid as well as this heavy rotate leaning over towards that A-bomb site by the Falcons.
It does feel like you're entirely reliant right now on Magisk being able to find an initial kill. There aren't too many flashes, so at the very least, Simple should be given a lot of chances to repeat. But now that he's been spotted over here, Story as well is going to be able... No! He misses! And now Martin has a chance, but he doesn't know how far in Ujux already is.
Yeah, he made noise rotating away to that A-bomb site. With Simple getting a glimpse of a player inside of Donut, they thought for sure it had to be an A-side finish. So even with that miss from Story, his work had already been done. You know, he got them into that man advantage in the first place. He segmented, And it did help sell the idea of an A side. So Falcons will save. Out of position, try to plug up the gap, and it is just the wrong call. Nice that sAw, even with the struggles that they've had coming into the second half, didn't feel like they had to finish on that A-bomb side. Even after killing 2, that would have been the first respondent.
Okay. Now he hits the shots.
Yeah.
Never doubt the flare.
Actually, it did cost Roman his life. He got to Temple, and he still died to the bomb.
That is genuinely quite important going into the next few rounds, I suppose. I mean, you do see a Galil being picked up from Agile as well. It's going to be slightly more stressed, at the very least. The kill from Muris onto Dupreeh was big, though.
So Falcons get close to tying, but sAw get a bit of distance on a gun round.
Where have we seen that before? Eternal Fire might be looking like they're getting PTSD, but Magisk right in the middle. Smoke being popped open, he is taking advantage of it. They're being naded open right outside of B as well. Huge damage, and that is followed up. Snappy, he finishes it off, and it gets a little bit easier for him. Even the turnaround. Story, don't try me. I might be 3-13, but I'll make you my 4th.
A little revenge. He got spammed by U-Jerks in the first half. Clearly able to do it too. 2-on-5. Falcons very assertive. Magisk and Dupreeh already setting their control inside of middle, and with them dispelling the initial B-side attack, this will be difficult for Roman and Agil. Roman just overwhelmed, and Agil is still spamming, hoping that he could have a second prong to a B-side attack, but not a single casualty here for the Falcons. They deal with it well, and yeah, the money is not in a great place here for sAw.
And for Falcons, they all have over 4K saved in the back. I think on average 6 across most of them.
Yeah, costly trying to hunt those extra weapons of the Falcons in that prior round.
Not to mention the fact that they really didn't do too much damage with their ecos either, which is sort of what you are hoping for to reset the CT economy. Zonix finally been given a reason to clap as well, so that's always nice.
Yeah, that's good.
Teddy Bear Z in the house. Roman. A duel taken, but not one. He really should not consider contesting Dupreeh. He is 21-14 right now. Head and shoulders above anyone else on the server. Closest behind him is 15.
He didn't even do a deal with them.
Yeah. And again, you see this triple cave reinforcement to make sure that Snappy can't be targeted, and it's working in this round for them. Muris wants to look for that exact weakness that they're expecting. But peeking into the verticality means at best you're going to get, what, a 1-for-1? Maybe even not that. Muris isn't nearby, Madden's still around. He's stuck through, but Muris will strike. Time of plenty, and sAw will not want to slow things down. U-Jerks turns around, that's where Magisk gets a free kill. Snappy's done the same and twice over. Now, we equalize.
Yeah, fantastic work there from the Falcons. Just great balancing of attention as well from those sAw members. You know, the double cave setup, you highlight it, a high-low, and one runs back through the flames, the other still hovering around. And sure, Madden does lose out in his duel, but you can see that it's set up in a way that each player can sort of hopefully catch an opponent on the sAw off guard. And even when they're defending B, as soon as you take attention from long, site player reveals himself. So just nice, clear comms, good understanding of what's happening in the round there from the Falcons.
Fantastic crossfire is being held on that B side late round as well. But I have to say, again, it kind of just goes back to Dupreeh in so many of these rounds, giving them the advantage they need.
Is it just me, or is this like that was like a security camera angle on sAw just now?
We use everything, okay? Yeah. We use everything at our disposal.
Could have been like a crime documentary or something. I mean, coming in 3-9, maybe this is this should be well documented. The robbery of Ancient.
Indiana Jones is certainly in the territory right now, but I don't know if this arc has been raided just quite yet. sAw are hoping their Tech 9s can help them put up a bit of a security force. Snappy thinks the smoke is going to give him cover, or at least an advantage. He doesn't know! He doesn't know! Roman picks that one up for free. Magus now tries to reinforce Cave, and he's only good for the one. It has to be Modern right here, right now. Tag into Muteris and another for Ujurx. This is not pretty, but Dupreeh and Modern always here to beautify and save the day.
Yeah, that could have gotten a little scary, couldn't it? I mean, Snappy definitely knew that there was a gap around the edge of that smoke, but I think he was so concerned about getting gray screened, and even if there was a player around the other side of it, he probably wouldn't have actually seen him because the smoke was covering just enough. But yeah, Roman exploiting that, them getting the second onto Magus, this round could have gotten far scarier. But they have consistent pieces. The most consistent of which has been Dupreeh. All our talk about the GOAT in Simple. Why don't we talk about the 5 major wins of Dupreeh?
Most successful player of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, there's no doubt about that.
A GOAT for different means.
Snappy in the meanwhile, backstabs are a good time, and he is delivering them. That's exactly what they wanted. Falcons now with Simple alone on the A site. Ujurx will take him down. This is a vulnerability they were not ready for, but at least Mazisk will compensate. Dupreeh does the same. He is everywhere. You can't go anywhere on this map without finding Dupreeh.
They will try. He is on their flank. He has them pinned into A, but once again, Dupreeh's repositioning.
He's rotating back to middle. He's going again. No, decides against it. Finally, there might be somewhere where the big, great Dane isn't. Even then, Snappy, right around the corner, waiting for this exact play to be made. He's picked up one, could be two. Angel will save the day, but there's still Dupreeh to worry about. And with 12 HP, that is a big concern.
I mean, Dupreeh knows exactly what Agil's thinking. Last seen towards that A bomb site, of course, he's going to try and plant on B. So Dupreeh is inside cave so quick. Agil has to be very certain, very sure, but he makes steps on his retreat. Dupreeh knows exactly what's up, and it all comes down to timing here for Agil. It's a game of cat and mouse, and they are playing ring around the rosy, but Dupreeh has a smoke and a kit as well. He'll tap that bomb. Agil still yet to fire, but he knows that he should be inside of ramp somewhere, inside of cave maybe. Dupreeh can't find the bomb. He's struggling to get on that defuse, and now Agil has a chance round the edge of that smoke, and he's shown, he has enough there of Dupreeh showing that Agil can come up clutch, even with all the damage Dupreeh does. It's not another round.
I actually don't think he even tapped the bomb before because he couldn't find it, which is why Agil took so long to turn back and actually look into the smoke.
There's no way.
This was just a question of location. It's like real estate.
I've heard enough about real estate in the green room.
My fucking sound is whacked. I can't hear fucking shit.
Oh, okay. Apparently Dupreeh cannot hear a thing.
Yeah, that's all he said.
Wasn't much to hear. You know, Agil never started sprinting.
It's true. Maybe that's why he couldn't hear anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a bug. Nice to see Agil show some composure as well, put into a very problematic position. Obviously, a 2-on-3 where they do find an angle out, but given that he had to trade for Muteris, his low health in the situation as well against the heaviest hitter that Falcons have shown so far, you would maybe expect a couple nerves to display.
This is the round, though. This is the round where Simple cannot afford to miss a shot again. He's waiting. There isn't a flashbang, and he will hit. Roman down. Flash forces him away. Reinforcements come through Donut. They are twice over. Make that maybe even 3. No, Snappy decides to come back towards CT spawn. You will be worried a little bit about what Muteris can deliver in the late round, but Dupreeh cannot interrupt the bomb plant. Attempting to do so for sure, but Simple's been brought down low as well. Dupreeh will fall. With that smoke having been blown open, will they be expecting more?
There's only 3 in defense of this bomb site. Muteris is so far away. He was worried about the prospect of a flank, but Agil stands his ground for 1 at least.
Deep nade out from Simple, but he's feeling concerned about whether he can even try and go into commit. Magisk at the same time knows Muta should be lurking. He can't get the adjustment. It might be close, but close isn't enough. And Simple right now can't even save his AWP, and now you see a tricky position for Falcons with their own economy. sAw and their stress testing might have paid off.
Yeah, they've got 3 players that are above 5k, but 2 that definitely cannot afford their own weaponry. It is not going to be ideal in this last potential defense. And we could have 2 opening best of ones where, sure, sAw were probably the on-paper favorites for this match, but given the tenure of the Falcons, we would have excused them if they lost their opening round. We could have 2 effective underdogs break through 13-1, 11, sorry.
Madden's caught out completely. He's just not ready for the pace at all. This could be the last round because of that. Look at Dupreeh's rotation. He is coming in from T-spawn. Falcons will not have players ready. Even a Molotov to interrupt. Simple, but you can't stop him for too long. Now he goes through it. Looking to close the distance. Snappy will have to be bait for him to try and peek out behind Roman. A duel he must win, but a player he does not want to contest, and for good reason. Instead, they turn back to the GOAT. Snappy still fighting, still searching. And sAw right now are putting them down. 13-11 is animal abuse on the server. The GOAT will fall.
Yeah, I was not expecting sAw to be so commendable, so put together in that first half. A 9-3 advantage, and sure, there were signs of life in the second half there for the Falcons, but you could see that a lot of it just had to be channeled through Dupreeh. So many important kills that he got in this game as